At my graduation dinner, my girlfriend announced, "I'm pregnant." Everyone cheered. I froze. "We haven't been intimate in 6 months because you said you weren't feeling it." The table went silent. Her dad asked, "Is this true?" When she started crying and reached for her phone. Original post. I, 24 male, just experienced the most surreal moment of my life at what was supposed to be a celebration of my biggest achievement. I'm still sitting in my car outside my apartment, trying to process what happened 3 hours ago. My hands are shaking as I type this. Context: I just graduated from law school. 3 years of brutal studying, internships, moot court competitions, and barely sleeping. I passed the bar exam on my first try. My parents planned a graduation dinner at a nice steakhouse. Nothing crazy fancy, but a proper celebration. About 14 people were there. My parents, my younger brother, my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, a couple of cousins, my 2 best friends from undergrad, and my girlfriend of 2.5 years. My girlfriend and I met during my first year of law school. She was finishing her undergrad. Things were great at first. She was supportive, understood my schedule was insane, and we made it work. But over the past year, things have been off. She became distant, made excuses not to see me. When we did hang out, she was always on her phone. And here's the key detail. We haven't been intimate in 6 months. 6 months. Every time I tried to initiate, she had a reason. "I'm tired. I'm not feeling it. Can we just cuddle instead? I've been stressed about work." I stopped pushing because I didn't want to be that guy. I figured once I graduated and had more time and less stress, things would improve. We'd reconnect. Get back to normal. I should have seen it for what it was. I was too focused on finishing school to think clearly. So there we are at dinner. Appetizers have been served. My dad is making a toast about how proud they are. Everyone's smiling. It's a good moment. The best moment I've had in months. Then my girlfriend stands up. I have an announcement too. I wanted to wait for the perfect moment to share this with everyone. I'm thinking maybe she got a promotion at work. Maybe she's planning a surprise trip for us. Maybe. I'm pregnant. We're going to be parents. The table erupted. My mom gasped and started crying happy tears. My grandmother clutched her chest. Maya was already asking about baby showers. My friends were cheering and slapping me on the back. Everyone was looking at me with these huge, expectant smiles. And I just froze because my brain was doing math that didn't add up. We haven't had sex in 6 months. 6 months. She's clearly not 6 months pregnant based on how she looks. She's barely showing, maybe a small bump that could pass for bloating. So if she's pregnant, and we haven't been together in half a year, the words came out before I could stop them. We haven't been intimate in 6 months. You said you weren't feeling it. The table went dead silent, like someone had pressed mute on reality. My mom's happy tears stopped midstream. My grandmother's hand fell from her chest. My friends' cheers died in their throats. My girlfriend's face went through about 6 emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, panic, anger, fear, then this weird attempt at confusion. What? Babe, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that you've turned me down every single time for 6 months. So unless Immaculate Conception is making a comeback, the math isn't mathing. Her dad, who was sitting across from me, leaned forward. He's an accountant, numbers guy. His face had gone from celebratory to calculating. Her dad, is this true? 6 months. Yes, sir. I've been patient about it. Figured she was stressed. But 6 months is 6 months. Her mom jumped in. Honey, there must be some misunderstanding. Maybe you're confused about the timeline. I'm not confused. The last time was January. It's now late July. I remember because it was the night before my contract's final. That's not something I'd misremember. My girlfriend started crying. Not the quiet kind, the full theatrical breakdown. Tears streaming, hands shaking, the whole production. She reached for her phone. I can't believe you're doing this to me. At your graduation dinner. In front of everyone. You announced a pregnancy that can't possibly be mine at my graduation dinner in front of everyone. I think we're even on the public embarrassment front. She was scrolling through her phone frantically, probably looking for someone to call, someone to back her up, someone to rescue her from the hole she'd dug. Her mom stood up and put her arm around her. Let's go to the bathroom. Calm down. We'll figure this out. They left. The table sat in stunned silence. My father, bless him, cleared his throat and said, "Well, this is certainly not how I expected the evening to go." My grandmother, who is 78 and has zero filter left, looked at me and said, "I knew I didn't like that girl." Something about her eyes. My buddy leaned over and whispered, "Bro, I am so sorry. This is insane." I just sat there, looking at the empty chair where my girlfriend had been sitting, trying to process that my relationship of 2.5 years had just ended over breadsticks and a lie. Her dad was still at the table. He hadn't followed his wife and daughter to the bathroom. He was just sitting there, staring at his plate. Her dad, quietly, "I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." Me, "Yes, sir." Her dad, "Is there any chance at all, that you're wrong about the timeline?" Me, "No, sir. I wish there was." He nodded slowly. Then he stood up, dropped $200 bills on the table, way more than a share of the meal, and walked toward the bathroom. I haven't seen or heard from any of them since. My girlfriend's phone is going straight to voicemail. Her mom blocked me on everything within an hour. Her dad hasn't reached out. I'm sitting in my car now because I don't want to go inside my apartment yet. Half her stuff is in there. Her shampoo in my shower. Her snacks in my kitchen. Her pillow on my bed. Evidence of a relationship I thought was real. I don't know what to do next. I don't know if I'm supposed to reach out or wait or what. All I know is that 6 months of not feeling it suddenly makes a lot more sense. I'll update when I know more. Right now I'm just trying to breathe. Update 1, 3 days later. A lot has happened since my graduation dinner imploded, and I need to get this out because the situation has gotten significantly worse. First, let me address some questions from the comments. Yes, I'm 100% certain about the timeline. Yes, there's zero chance the baby is mine. And yes, I've replayed that dinner in my head about 1,000 times, wondering if I should have handled it differently. But honestly, she chose to make that announcement publicly. I didn't have time to pull her aside privately. She ambushed me. My reaction was the only honest response I could give. Now for what happened after. The night of the dinner, I eventually went back to my apartment. Sat in the dark for a while. Around midnight, I started getting texts from her best friend. Her best friend. "You humiliated her in front of both families. Do you have any idea what you've done?" Me. "She announced a pregnancy that isn't mine. What was I supposed to do?" Smile and nod. Her best friend. "You could have talked to her privately instead of making a scene." Me. "She made the scene. I just responded to it." Her best friend. "You're a monster." She's devastated. Me. "She's devastated that she got caught." There's a difference. Her best friend stopped responding after that. I blocked her number because I didn't need that energy. The next morning, Saturday, I woke up to pounding on my door. It was her mother. Her mom. "We need to talk." "Let me in." I didn't let her in. We talked in the hallway. Her mom. "You need to apologize to my daughter. Publicly. Tell everyone you made a mistake about the timeline." Me. "I didn't make a mistake." Her mom. "She's telling me you two were together in April. She says you're lying about January to make her look bad." Me. "April would still only be 3 months ago. If she's claiming the baby is mine, that doesn't help her math." Her mom's face flickered. She clearly hadn't thought that through. Her mom. "Well, maybe she's further along than she looks. Some women don't show much." Me. "Ma'am, with respect, she announced this like it was early pregnancy news. If she were 6 months along, she would have known and told me long before now. This doesn't add up any way you slice it." Her mom. "You're destroying her reputation over math?" Me. "She destroyed our relationship over lies. The math is just how I figured it out." Her mom left after threatening to make sure everyone knows what kind of man I really am. I documented the interaction, took notes with timestamps right after. Something told me I might need records. Sunday was quiet. Too quiet. I used the time to start separating my life from hers. Changed my Netflix password. Removed her from my Spotify family plan. Updated my emergency contacts. Small things that felt massive. Monday morning, I got a call from her dad. I was surprised he was reaching out directly. Her dad. "I owe you an apology." Me, "Sir." Her dad. "I spoke with my daughter. At length. She eventually admitted that the baby isn't yours. She's been seeing someone else since February. February. She'd been cheating on me for 5 months, turning me down intimately while sleeping with someone else, making me feel like I was the problem. Me? I appreciate you telling me. Her dad. I'm not calling to make excuses for her. What she did was wrong. What she tried to do at that dinner, trap you into raising another man's child, was worse. I didn't raise her to be this person, and I don't know where this came from. Me. Do you know who the other guy is? Her dad. A co-worker. Apparently, he's married. When she told him about the pregnancy, he made it clear he wasn't leaving his wife. That's why she tried to transfer the situation to you. The pieces clicked. She'd gotten pregnant by a married man who wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. So she decided to pawn it off on the stable, newly graduated lawyer boyfriend who she knew would do the right thing. I was her backup plan, her safety net, her patsy. Me, what happens now? Her dad. That's up to you. I won't be angry whatever you decide, but I wanted you to have the truth. Me, I appreciate that more than you know. Her dad. For what it's worth, you handled that dinner with more grace than most men would have. You didn't yell, didn't curse, didn't make a bigger scene than necessary. You just stated facts. That took composure. Me, it didn't feel like composure. It felt like shock. Her dad. Sometimes they look the same from the outside. We ended the call on decent terms. Her dad is not the villain here, and I respect that he had the integrity to find out the truth and share it with me directly. But then Tuesday happened. I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was a screenshot of a Facebook post my ex had written. I don't have Facebook anymore, so I hadn't seen it. The post said, "Some people show their true colors when you need them most. I'm going through the hardest time of my life, and instead of support, I got abandoned and humiliated by someone I thought loved me. If you see me struggling, now you know why." Some men aren't ready to step up. It had 89 likes and 34 comments, mostly from her friends and family offering sympathy and calling me every name in the book. She was rewriting history, framing herself as the victim, making me the villain who abandoned her in her time of need. I thought about responding, making my own post, defending myself, but something my dad always said came back to me: never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty, but the pig enjoys it. Instead, I screenshot everything, saved it all, and started thinking strategically. If she wants to play public opinion, fine. But I'm a lawyer now. I know how to build a case. And I know that the truth has a way of coming out. More updates to come. Update 2. 8 days later. Things have escalated in ways I wasn't expecting. And I want to document all of it because this situation has become genuinely complicated. After her Facebook post painting me as the villain who abandoned her, I made a decision. I wasn't going to engage publicly, but I also wasn't going to let lies stand unopposed in spaces that mattered. Here's what I did. First, I reached out privately to the people who were at the graduation dinner. My family already knew the truth. They were there. But I also contacted my 2 friends who witnessed everything and asked if they'd be willing to provide written statements about what actually happened. Not for court yet, but just for my records. Both agreed immediately. My buddy's statement. I was present at the dinner when X announced her pregnancy. Opie responded by stating they hadn't been intimate in 6 months. This was clearly news to everyone at the table, including X as parents. Opie did not yell, threaten, or behave inappropriately. He stated a fact in response to her announcement. Second, I went through my phone and compiled every text message from the past 6 months where she'd turned down intimacy. There were a lot. Not tonight. I'm exhausted. Can we just watch a movie? I have a headache. I'm not in the mood. Don't take it personally. Dated, timestamped, documented. Third, and this is where it gets interesting, I discovered something I didn't expect. While organizing my documentation, I went through my Google Photos to see if there was anything relevant in our shared album. That's when I found it. She'd accidentally synced some photos to my cloud back in March when she borrowed my laptop to print something. I never noticed because they were buried in a folder I rarely checked. But there they were, photos of her with another man. Nothing explicit, but clearly romantic. Holding hands, her leaning against him. One where he's kissing her cheek. The metadata showed the dates. March, April, May. Multiple occasions. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was an ongoing relationship. I saved everything to a secure folder. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not planning to post these publicly or blast them everywhere. That's not my style, and honestly, it would probably make me look petty. But having proof that contradicts her narrative is important if this escalates further. And escalate it did. Thursday, I got a formal letter in the mail. It was from a lawyer, her family's attorney. The letter claimed I had defamed my ex by publicly accusing her of infidelity at a family gathering, and that she was considering legal action for emotional distress and reputational damage. I actually laughed when I read it. Me, a newly barred attorney, getting a threat letter overstating a factual timeline. I drafted a response. Professional, measured, devastating. My letter outlined, truth is an absolute defense to defamation. I stated that we hadn't been intimate in 6 months. This is factually true and verifiable through text message records. She made the public announcement at a private family gathering. I responded in the same forum. This does not constitute defamation. If she wishes to pursue discovery, I would be happy to provide text messages, photo evidence, and witness statements that support my account. Any further baseless legal threats would be considered harassment. I sent it certified mail and kept copies of everything. 3 days later, yesterday, her dad called me again. Her dad, I want you to know I had nothing to do with that letter. That was my wife's idea. She's not handling this well. Me, I figured. The letter wasn't a serious legal threat. It was posturing. Her dad, I told them both it would backfire. You're a lawyer. They're threatening a lawyer with a frivolous defamation claim. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Me, I appreciate you giving me a heads up. Her dad, there's something else. My daughter wants to talk to you. Directly. She asked me to arrange it. Me, why? Her dad, I think she wants to, I don't know, explain. Apologize. Maybe both. I'm not advocating either way. I'm just passing along the request. I thought about it. Part of me wanted to refuse. Why give her the satisfaction of an audience? But another part of me wanted closure. Wanted to hear what possible explanation she could offer. Me, fine. One conversation. Public place. This weekend. Her dad, I'll let her know. We're meeting tomorrow at a coffee shop. I have no idea what she's going to say, but I'm going in with zero expectations. Whatever she says won't change what happened. It won't make the baby mine. It won't undo the months of lies. But maybe I'll get answers. Maybe I'll understand why someone would do this to a person they claim to love. Or maybe she'll just try to manipulate me again. Either way, I'll update after. Update 3. Final, 11 days later. Final update. The conversation happened, and I think I finally have closure on this whole nightmare. I met her at a coffee shop Saturday afternoon. She was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth, looking smaller than I remembered. No makeup, hair in a ponytail, wearing one of those oversized sweaters she always wore when she wanted comfort. Part of me felt a flicker of the old affection. The part of me that had loved her for 2.5 years. But then I remembered the photos synced to my cloud. The 5 months of lies. The attempt to pin another man's baby on me. The flicker died. Me, you wanted to talk. I'm here. Her, thank you for coming. I know you didn't have to. Me, you're right. I didn't. She looked down at her coffee for a long moment before speaking. Her, I'm not going to insult you by making excuses. What I did was wrong. All of it. The cheating, the lies, the dinner, the attempt to make you think the baby was yours. I know that. Me, then why did you do it? Her, because I was scared and stupid and desperate. She explained. The married co-worker had pursued her aggressively starting around February. She'd been feeling neglected because I was always studying her words, not mine, and she made a terrible choice. One time became an ongoing thing. When she found out she was pregnant in June, she panicked. He told me he wasn't leaving his wife. He told me if I kept the baby, I'd be on my own. I couldn't afford that. I couldn't face that. And I thought if you just trapped me into thinking it was mine, I'd step up and you'd have your stable life. It sounds so much worse when you say it like that. Me, it is that bad. You weren't trying to save the relationship. You were trying to use me as a life raft. She started crying. Quiet tears, not the theatrical ones from the dinner. Her, I know. I know I was selfish. I know I ruined everything. I wanted you to understand that it wasn't because I didn't love you. I did love you. I still do. Me. That's not love. Love doesn't involve 5 months of cheating and an attempted paternity fraud. Her, I know. Me. What do you want from this conversation? She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes. Her, I want you to forgive me. Not for us to get back together. I know that's impossible. I don't want to be the villain in your story forever. I thought about that for a while. Forgiveness is a complicated thing. I'd read somewhere that it's not about absolving the other person. It's about freeing yourself from carrying the weight of their wrong. Me, I'm not going to carry this with me forever. But forgiveness isn't something I can give you right now. Maybe never. What you did wasn't a mistake you made in a moment of weakness. It was a calculated plan that lasted months. You chose to lie to me every single day. That's not something you apologize away over coffee. Her, I understand. Me, what's your plan now? With a baby? Her, I'm keeping it. Moving back in with my parents. Getting my life together. Doing it on my own since that's how it's going to be. Me, what about the actual father? Her, he wants nothing to do with it. His wife found out. They're in counseling. He made it very clear I'm on my own. I felt a twinge of something. Not sympathy exactly, but recognition of how badly she'd messed up her own life. She gambled on a married man and lost. Then tried to cheat her way out of the consequences and lost again. Now she was facing single motherhood at 23 with a family that probably looks at her differently than they did a month ago. Her, my dad told me about the letter from the lawyer. I didn't know about it until after. My mom did that on her own. I told him to drop it. Me, I appreciate that. Her, I'm sorry. For everything. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it to your face. Me, I hear you. I stood up to leave. She grabbed my hand. Her, can I ask one thing? Me, what? Her, please don't post the photos. The ones of me and him. I know they're on your cloud. I realized it too late to delete them. Just, please. I'm going to have a baby, and I don't want that following me forever. I looked at her hand on mine. This person I'd loved. This person who'd betrayed me so completely. Me, I was never going to post them. That's not who I am. But I'm keeping them in case I ever need proof of what really happened. Insurance. Her, okay. That's fair. Me, good luck with everything. I genuinely mean that. I hope your kid has a good life. Her, thank you. I left. Didn't look back. The next few days were about practical closure. I gathered all her stuff from my apartment, clothes, books, the random things she'd left behind over the years, and dropped them off at her parents' house when I knew she'd be at work. Her dad met me at the door, thanked me for being decent about everything, and shook my hand. That felt like a proper ending. Her mom wasn't there. Probably for the best. The legal threat never materialized. Either her dad talked them out of it, or they consulted a real attorney who told them they'd lose badly. Either way, no more letters came. Her Facebook post is still up. People who believe it are welcome to. I'm not going to fight that battle. The people who matter, my family, my real friends, the ones who were there, know the truth. That's enough. Here's where I am now. I started my new job at a law firm this week. First-year associate, nothing glamorous, but it's a start. Long hours, steep learning curve, a lot of coffee. Exactly what I wanted. My apartment is fully mine again. No more stray shampoo bottles or pillows that smell like her perfume. It's cleaner than it's been in 2 years. Emptier, but cleaner. I'm not dating. Not ready. The trust issues from this are going to take time. My buddy keeps trying to set me up with his girlfriend's friend, but I told him I need a minute. Maybe several minutes. Like a year of minutes. Some final thoughts. 1. Trust your instincts. I knew something was off when she stopped wanting to be intimate with me. I explained it away, rationalized it, blamed myself for being too busy with school. I should have paid attention. The red flags were waving. I just didn't want to see them. 2. Public confrontations aren't always wrong. Everyone says take the high road and handle it privately. But she chose to make that announcement at my graduation dinner, in front of my family, attempting to trap me into a life-changing lie. My response was honest and measured. I don't regret it. 3. Documentation matters. The texts, the photos, the witness statements, All of that protected me when they tried to flip the script. If I hadn't had evidence, it would have been my word against hers, and she's apparently a much better liar than I realized. For not everyone gets a redemption arc. She's not going to suddenly become a better person because of this. She's facing consequences, sure, but based on everything I saw, she's already rewriting history to make herself a victim. Some people don't change. They just find new people to manipulate. 5. Closure is something you give yourself. The coffee conversation didn't heal anything, but it did let me look her in the eyes one last time and really know, that I made the right call, that I deserve better, that walking away was the only choice. My graduation dinner was supposed to be a celebration of everything I'd worked for. Instead, it became the night my relationship ended in the most dramatic way possible. But here's the thing, maybe that's its own kind of gift. I found out who she really was before we moved in together, before we got married, before I legally became a father to a child that wasn't mine. The timing was brutal, but the discovery was lucky. I'm going to go make dinner now. Something simple, just for me. Put on a show she would have complained about. Enjoy the quiet. Thanks for following this whole mess. Writing it out helped more than I expected. Sometimes you just need strangers on the internet to confirm that you're not crazy, that you were right to walk away, that some announcements deserve immediate fact-checking. The math wasn't matang, and now I'm free. Peace.